GFA. Has there been any communication, especially from the GFA's end, to say, yes, we have received your letter. Yes, if you say you are walking away from the league, that is fine. Has there been any conversation between Hohoe United and the GFA on all the things that must happen for your withdrawal to be official or for it to be sanctioned?
Officially, no. Officially, there hasn't been any communication to that regard. But what we did as a club is that it's our duty to notify the FA of decisions we have taken as a club, and that is what we did exactly. So officially, the FA are yet to, communicate with us on what the way forward is. As to whether that is being done unofficially to maybe the top hierarchy of the club, I will not be in a capacity to say for now. But officially, the FA are yet to communicate with us in any regard.
I see. So if that is the case, why are you still proceeding with the decision? I hope you get my question. So if the FA hasn't said anything, wouldn't you want to wait to hear from the FA so that your exit is made official, so you cross your T's, dot your I's, but you didn't show up for your game, with 11 Wonders?
No, Nathan, it's a club's decision. It's not dependent on what the FA decides. It's a club decision, and once the club has decided not to continue playing in the league, then we didn't see the need to wait on any communication from the FA. So what if the communication never comes? It means we play in a league that we have decided or taken a decision not to continue. So yes, so for now it's the club decision. The club decision still stands, and we've communicated same to the FA, and on our part, that is exactly what is required of us, and we have done just that.
How are your players taking this? I'm sure they've prepped for a while to be in the league. They enjoy playing in it. I'm sure they love the thrill of the competition. I'm sure they want to survive on the pitch, i.e. play and get points and all. How have they taken this decision that the club has decided to pursue by withdrawing from the league?
Well, Nathan, every football player enjoys playing football, yes. But most of them, or let's say a higher percentage of them, agrees with the club decision, knowing very well that the sort of things they are subjected to in games at times, and so yes, they like to play the football. They enjoy playing football, but what's the point in playing football in a system that simply cannot be fair? You prep all week, you invest your resources, you go for games only for a few people to come and decide the outcome of the game. It doesn't augur well for our game, and it breaks the hearts or the spine of players who work hard all week long to prepare for games, to go into the games, give their all, only for some one or two decisions to impact on the result of the game. Yes, so they want to play the football. They enjoy playing football, but the point here is they also are in support of the club's decision to withdraw because of the very things they, as the key actors on the field, are subjected to week in, week out, because of the biased nature of the system.
As a club, have you had has anybody from the Hohoe area, maybe any opinion leader, any high-ranking person from the area or in the area, has anybody of that, anybody with that type of clout or persona, has anybody reached out to ask why you are doing this? Has there been any concern from the people of Hohoe saying that, look, you are taking something that we love away from us, or you are denying us the opportunity to be part of something national, something big? Has anybody had that conversation with the club on this decision?
Sporty FM.
Well, the decision before it was taken, a lot of considerations were made, and a wide consultation sort of was made from all major stakeholders of the club. You know, the life patron, which is the overlord of the big traditional area, is a key stakeholder of the club, the owners, the founders, the board of directors. So, I mean, everybody was consulted, and everybody was part of the decision-making process. It was not just a decision by just the management or just by one person. It was a holistic decision that was made by every stakeholder of the club, and the consensus is that the club cannot continue playing in a league that has expressed unfairness towards the club. The club, as it were, feels targeted, and what's the point in playing in a competition that you feel, you know, you are being the target for the worst, you know? So yes, all the stakeholders were involved in the decision making, and all the stakeholders at the moment are in support of the club's decision to bow out of the league.
All right, Yusuf, thank you so much for speaking with us. I guess we won't be seeing Hohoe United on the pitch anytime soon, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, what the FA says to all of us concerning this. But Yusuf, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure we'll get in touch if there are any developments.
All right, you're welcome, Nathan.
All right, thank you so much. That was Yusuf Uthman. He's the admin manager of Hohoe United Football Club. So you heard it. They're saying that, look, they don't feel okay playing in the Ghana Premier League. They decided to withdraw. So their no-show last Friday was a statement. If you felt that they were not going to do it, well, there you have it. There you have it. They have decided not to take part in the league. And last week's no-show was the perfect statement, or the concrete way, or the most tangible expression of that wish not to be part of the Ghana Premier League. Ray, so that's where we are. Yusuf says that the FA is yet to tell them anything. We haven't even heard from the GFA concerning this, because there's no statement from them, nothing. So, I don't know. But Ray, isn't it a little weird?
You know, when they say they've not heard from the FA yet, what do they want to hear from the FA? The only time the FA would officially communicate to us is when the FA has received communication from Hohoe United. Okay. So in the case of Nsuatreman, when they pulled out of the league, the FA communicated. You understand? And let just to take you back. When Nsuatreman pulled out of the league, the FA were quick to release a statement. The Ghana Football Association has received a letter from Premier League side Nsuatreman announcing their decision to withdraw from the ongoing Ghana Premier League. In a letter signed by the club president received from the official email of the club on March 14, 2025, the club stated that the withdrawal was due to safety concerns over the security and safety of our players. Quote. Now, when the FA received this letter, it didn't take them. In fact, they received the letter on the 14th. On the same 14th, the Ghana Football Association activated the rules. Okay. So they received on the 14th. And immediately on the 14th, the GFA released a statement confirming that regulations, including but not limited to Article 13.5 of the regulations, were going to be activated.
Okay.
That was what happened in the case of
Sporty FM.
Now, what is a bit surprising, or what's a bit shocking for me, is that since last week, if indeed the FA had or has received that communication, I'm sure they would have taken action. The FA wouldn't have given it a thought or thought otherwise in activating Articles 13.5 of the regulations. So that's why I'm saying that maybe the offices were closed over the holidays. Maybe. But the letter we saw was dated the 1st of April, if I'm not mistaken. The 1st of April or the 2nd of April. And I'm sure the FA would have or could have taken action even before the holiday break. So again, we'll wait and see and wait and hear from the FA. But I think that
This is Sporty
a lot of what we are
the
seeing
voice of sport.
sits in the media. It's currently sitting in the media. But as to whether the FA has really received the official communication, we don't know that. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I feel a bit sad for the players because these are players who went to a very difficult Division 1 qualifying phase, came into the Ghana Premier League, showed a lot of promise, won some very difficult games, proved that, well, they can compete at this level. And so this decision leaves them nowhere. Most of these players would have thought that
Sporty
by
FM.
playing in the Ghana Premier League, you could get the chance to go abroad, get the chance to be seen, get the chance to get national team call-ups and all. But their journey in the Premier League has been cut short. And again, some of us would hope that the club would take a decision, or the decision the club has taken would not jeopardize the career of these boys. And I'm hoping that whatever the situation is, most of these boys would get a chance to move on and possibly ply their trade elsewhere. That is if, indeed, the club would not survive in the Ghana
Sporty
Premier
FM.
League and would possibly not even get a look in the Division 1, possibly in the Division 2. I don't know where they go from here. You know, because some of these sanctions are very, very heavy. And we might not see Hohoe United in the top flight in a very, very long time. So, I mean, the owners of Hohoe United should pay attention to this very well. If that letter hasn't been dispatched to the FA, they forfeited one game. They've lost 3 points there. They may have to quickly go back to the drawing board and see how best they can get back into all of this and save their season. They can't save their season. It's not too late.
You think they can? Some people, well, I don't know whether. Look, I'm not sure what the club thinks, but a part of me I don't know if the club thinks that the situation is so bad that they can't save themselves. I don't know, really.
Well, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for them where they sit. Because if you look at the table, they sit 17th. Okay. Now in that 17th spot, the team that is above them, the team that is above Hohoe United, they have 33 points. So let's say Hohoe United have forfeited one game. The chance to move to 33, they missed it. Now, if you look at their position number 17, with 6 games to the end of the season, it would mean that from position number 12 West Withdrawal Black sit on 35 points. Down to position number 17, 30, where Hohoe United sit. That's all to play for before the season ends. There's just 5 points in there. There's 5 points in there for Hohoe United to get to that spot and possibly do better. And there's some 18 points up for grabs.
Okay.
This is Sporty FM,
I
the
don't see
voice
how
of
Hohoe
sport.
United cannot do a job in 3 of those games, manage a draw somewhere, and then find a way to survive in the Premier League. I don't see how that doesn't happen. So maybe they should reconsider this decision.
You think they should reconsider?
I strongly believe that, look, they can't survive in the Premier League, regardless of what their challenge, what their concerns are. And if they're able to survive, I'm sure they would go back and do their homework well and then figure out things properly. But pulling out of the league at this point, the future of the players, the future of the club itself, what the club meant to the people in Hohoe, the investments and all, I think that it doesn't
Sporty FM.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. If that letter hasn't gone to the FA yet, if it's been held up in the mail somewhere, it should be good news for them, and they should quickly reach out to the FA and figure out how best they can salvage the situation. Look, Nathan, it doesn't help any team to toe this line. It doesn't help any team at all. It doesn't help any team at all. And I mean, Hohoe United owner, he knows some of these things. I mean, the politics of the game. He's a politician, right? He should understand some of the things that happen around the football space. So, I'm positive. I think that Hohoe United will be back. I strongly believe so.
Okay, all right. We'll see how it plays out. Time check is 12 minutes after 8. We'll have to wait and see what the GFA will say. But from the Hohoe United perspective, they have withdrawn from the league. They don't want to play in the league anymore. We'll see how it all plays out. Your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. Minutes after 8. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. You can send us your comments 054-257-1061. The final points on the Ghana Premier League before we proceed. Asante Kotoko and Samatex will resume their game this morning. 9 a.m. I'm told.
Yes.
9 a.m. So they will resume yesterday. They'll resume the game this morning. They were playing yesterday when rain. Wow, Ray Charlie, it was serious rain. really heavy. Really heavy downpour in Kumasi. It was intense. The referee, Nathan Anafo, assessed the situation and decided that, you know what, this game cannot be played in this condition. So the referee decided to put a pause on the game, and it will be resumed this morning at 9 a.m. I hope the weather is bright and sunny, in Kumasi, so that game will happen. It will be played at 9 a.m. The game was goalless as of the time it was stopped. Yeah. So I think 45 minutes will be played. Asante Kotoko taking on Samatex in the Ghana Premier League game. It was supposed to be the final fixture of match week 28. So we wait to see what that result will do for the league table. In terms of the standings, quickly, for those who are interested. Now, Asante Kotoko on 43 points. Now, depending on how the game ends, they can move to 44, maybe 46 if they win, 44 if they draw, and they stay on 43 if they lose that particular encounter. For Samatex, they are 8th at the moment. They are on 38 points. So their situation can equally change depending on the outcome of the game. If they win, they move up to 41 points. That will send them to join Karela on the same number. Then we'll work out the goal difference and all of that. If they don't win, then they move on to 39 points. That sends them 1 point behind Holy Stars. If they lose, then they stay on 38 points. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. We will get to we'll talk about the Champions League in a bit there, but your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061. Our colleague Michael Asaibodo is joining us on the phone. Michael, good morning. How are you doing? I can't even...
Hello, Nathan.
Yes, Michael, I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Yes. We are fine. You are joining us on the phone today, not via the Zoom. I'm sure it's down to ECG and their shenanigans.
Oh, as usual.
Anyway, yesterday the Kotoko Samatex game got rained off, and then the second half will be played. I'm sure you were at the ground. I saw the images on TV. Tell me just how much rain fell yesterday, because even on the screen it looked like it was quite intense.
Yep, I unfortunately I can't measure the amount of rain, but what I can say from what I witnessed was that before the rains even poured, there were strong winds, and the strong winds, like it blew for around 5-10 minutes, and then there was heavy downpour. So around the stadium, I think for those of us at the media stand, basically it was unbearable. We could not really position ourselves at where we were supposed to, and then even do our coverage. So at a point in time, we had to disconnect all the gadgets and the equipment, and then move away a bit from where there was an opening, so that we will not be drenched in the rain. And then again, for those on the pitch doing their duties, they have to find comfort and also find shelter in the tunnel, and then even proceed to where the dressing rooms and the other rooms within the stadium are. So it became unpleasant for anybody that was at the stadium performing a particular role. For the fans, they even had to find shelter around where the turnstiles are, and also see if there were some covering around the area, so that they positioned themselves there. It was actually a sight that you could not behold, and it opened up a conversation about our stadium architecture and how it shields football fans from such occasions or instances where there is a force majeure, and as such the fan, the football supporter, or even for players, for media men, for officials who have come to do their job will be safe. Because at a point in time, when the winds were blowing, it turned over the dugout, the bench, the seating bench for the officials, for the home team, for the away team. They were all turned over. And so what came to mind was that, what if
the seats in the technical area got turned over?
Yep, all two. You see, there's one for the home team and there's one for the away team. They were all turned over. The one for the officials, where the match commissioner, the fourth official, and then the VMOs also find shelter, it was also turned over. So every bench, every dugout that was there was turned over. And there are pictures too. I even posted the pictures on Facebook and had contact with some persons from the Ministry of Sport, asking about the situation and what they can do about it. The real situation is they came to take the original bench, the dugout. They came to take the original one to Accra as part of efforts to ready the Accra Sports Stadium for international matches. I think it was prior to a Black Stars game in the AFCON qualifier. Now, when they took it there, they were supposed to bring it back, which had been the standard practice, in order to make sure that they can play the games and then return the ones they took from the Bayern. But this time around, they kept it at the Accra Sports Stadium. So they are supposed to replace the ones they took. Along the line, there are conversations about buying a new one. Then one way or the other, they secured the service of some students to mold a new one for them, which they have done. But it has not been rightly fixed, and it is not up to what should be done. Under normal circumstances, they're supposed to put a wheel under it, make it heavier, or they are supposed to plant it firmly in the ground so that it has a heavy foundation, sort of. They have not done all these things. And so yesterday, when the strong winds accompanied by the heavy downpour, when it happened like that, it turned over these benches, and it wasn't a pleasant sight. It was so bad. It was that bad. Again, the heavy rain had soaked the pitch to the extent that the playing conditions was something that you could not actually have. The referees came, they decided to drop the ball, see whether there could be a bounce. Nothing of that sort happened. Then they pointed towards the drainage system. Is there an effective drainage system at the Bayern Sports Stadium where, in the case of a heavy rain, then it can quickly soak up the water and then drive it away? All these things have become issues just after yesterday's downpour. And I think we need to open up the conversation again about the Bayern Sports Stadium and when authorities can fix it once and for all, and then we can have the stadium restored to a befitting state. As it stands now, it is not, and it can only host the FA Cup and then the Premier League matches.
Am I surprised? No, but it's quite interesting seeing. It's quite interesting seeing this happen. So, Michael. So, I'm told that the resumption is at 9 a.m. At which point will that resumption take place? Are they playing a full half? Are they playing part of a half? What's happening?
This is
all right. So the game proceeded to halftime before the rains came in, and so what it means is that when they are supposed to resume a game after rain off, as per the rules or the laws of the game, they will resume from where the game was stopped. So in this case, they will resume from the second half, minute 46 to minute 90, plus any additional time that the referee and his officials will agree to add to it. If they had played the game to 60th minute, then they would have resumed from the 61st minute going. And so that is how the law says. So they will resume from the second half in this game until the 90th minute. And it was 0-0. So the score will also read 0-0 between Asante Kotoko and Samates, and the second half will start. So they'll play 45 minutes plus additional time.
Okay. For our viewers, those watching the stream, there are some videos, I believe those are Michael's videos, of the rain in Kumasi last night at the Bayern Stadium. I see cameramen standing in the rain trying to protect their equipment and all of that. Michael, you do make a point about the architecture of our facilities and how they do not protect the fans. And you're absolutely right. Last year or so, Immortal is not here. He would have confirmed the time. We went to watch, what was it? It wasn't the... Yes, Ray, it was the women's, I think, FA Cup. No, it was maybe the championship decided. I'm not too sure. It must have been the women's FA Cup final, I think. Okay, yes. The women's football festival, the schools championship. And Michael, it was raining and the fans were not spared at all. And so many people kept saying that, but is this the facility we spend so much money on, and it can't protect fans from rain and all of that. So you do make a solid point about the facilities and how friendly or unfriendly they are towards the fans. Michael, just to wrap up on this game, what was the game looking like at halftime? It was goalless though, but what was the story of the game before the rains kicked in?
It was an open game. No single team had a dominance over the other. There were periods where Asante Kotoko controlled the game, they dominated the game, but anytime they had a sustained period of play, Samatters fought back to also claw into the encounter and then dominate. So each team had their own fair share of decent chances. I even can say that Samatters had the more dangerous opportunities relatively, because they forced some brilliant saves from Aziz Dari. And I think Aziz Dari has seized the moment to just prove himself as a worthy candidate of the Asante Kotoko number 1 position. And I say this because in their previous game against Ediana at Doma, there was no Kamara because he had then been called up to the Guinean national team. Now, Aziz Dari was undoubtedly the player that kept Asante Kotoko in the game and ensured that Asante Kotoko left the Ariman Park with a point. He made save after save. He thwarted every effort that the Diana made to get the opening goal of the game. And in my opinion, he should have been named the man of the match. But it didn't go his way. But he was undoubtedly the best player. And then he continued from there. In the game yesterday against Samatters, he made some solid saves. There were 2 saves actually that he made, which kept Asante Kotoko in the game. But for him, maybe Kotoko would have been stunned with Samatters opening the score, and it would have been a different story altogether. So, on the evidence of what I saw at Doma and what he did in the first half yesterday, I think gradually he's rewriting the script. It is expected that after the season, Kamara will leave. When he does leave, I think what Aziz Dari is trying to do is to put his name in the conversation that the Kotoko faithful, the officials, should trust him to become their new number 1 in the absence of Mohamed Kamara. And he did a solid job. But that aside, there were some individual performances which need commendation as well. Akwesi Sapon, who was just number 14 for Samatters, I think he is gradually shaping himself up as one of the players to watch out for. And I'm not surprised because working with Christopher Enin will give him the opportunity to just develop further and become better. Christopher Enin has been known to be one of the best talent developers in the Ghana Premier League. He did say players like Patrick Esiedu of Asante Kotoko now, formerly of Brekum Chelsea, Rodamwa of Asante Kotoko, they all passed through Christopher Enin. He helped develop them. So yesterday at a point in time, when the game hadn't even started, you could see him having a very hearty conversation with Patrick Esiedu. The two were just communicating, discussing things and all that. So for Akwesi Sapon and what he started to do, it is not surprising. But he has a high ceiling, and I think if he takes time to develop under Christopher Enin, it won't be long before he becomes a household name in the Ghana Premier League. But that aside, I think that the two teams played well. It was a game that they all took the fight to each other. And it is unfortunate that the first half failed to produce a goal. And that could partly be due to some excellent goalkeeping and then also some wakefulness on the part of some of the players. For instance, Baba Yaya of Asante Kotoko, he got himself into very decent positions, and with precision, with composure, he could have found a teammate who would easily slot the ball into an emptiness. But most of his crosses were wayward crosses, and it didn't help Asante Kotoko. But all the same, I think it was a typical Ghana Premier League game, but it was enjoyable. Okay,
we'll see. We'll see if we get the same thing this morning when the players get back to the pitch to play. How's the weather like? I'm sure it's bright and sunny.
The weather has been calm this morning.
Okay.
Not so cold and not so warm. It's a bit of here and there, but I think it's better. And for any player or any team that wants to play football, I think this weather is very conducive. Play and then enjoy yourself. The sun is not out, and again, the wind is not blowing, so there are favorable winds where you can control the ball and do what you want to do with it. So the weather is cool, it's calm, and it's very conducive for football.
Okay, I was quite concerned for the players, looking at how early the game was starting and the fact that it could be very hot.
I cited a referee's report, not for this game, but it was another game, a referee's report. And you know what the referee wrote for weather?
No.
The weather is too hot. It is very. The weather is too hot, and they use a certain word. I want to find the word, but what I remember vividly is that the weather is too hot, and I think he said it makes playing football very difficult. But we are here to observe things. I saw it in the referee's report. The 3 p.m. weather for GPL matches, Nathan. Seriously, it is searing heat. Even for us, we just go to set up equipment and do our job. We feel it. So imagine the players who play under this direct hot sun for 90 minutes plus. Charlie, is too much. It's a serious punishment. We need to really do something about it.
The conversation was about to end, but I'm happy you've raised this. I was having a chat with some friends of mine, and somebody was theorizing that it is why sometimes a lot of the Ghana Premier League games are so difficult to watch, because it's too energy sapping for players to be kicking off at 3 p.m. A lot of people seem to angle for a later kickoff, a 5 p.m. kickoff, 6 p.m. kickoff. But of course, that means that the facilities will now need to be fitted with lights so they can play the evening games. I don't know what you make of, because you seem to support the theory that the 3 p.m. kickoff is so not beneficial to the players.
Exactly, and there are various reasons you can cite to back that case. Aside the weather not being favorable, it is also fixed at a time zone where a lot of these competing leagues are playing some of their best games. So it means you are competing with the top European leagues who have everything. So, for instance, if an El Clasico is fixed for 3 p.m. and the Ghana Premier League game is also fixed for 3 p.m., definitely you are not helping the football fan to come and watch. Aside the health implications for players who play under these conditions. But the point is, I think we can adopt peculiarity in terms of finding solutions. For instance, if you go to Doma, Sundays are known as market days, sort of. It is a very busy day.
Okay.
So, I think you can look at from 9 a.m. going or 10 a.m. in the morning, you find a lot of people actively involved in various things. They have activities that they partake in.
Okay.
This is a very ideal time to fix a GPL match in Doma. 10 a.m.
But
by 12 they are done.
But weather-wise, does it help? Because it can get really hot at 10 a.m.
No, I've been to Doma on several occasions.
Okay.
And around that time, the sun is not so hot.
Okay.
The weather is not so heated up. I think it's cool.
Okay.
It's manageable.
Okay.
So around that time, you have a lot of people coming out to watch the games.
Okay.
And then you would also have a very conducive weather. By 12, you are done, and the people can still return to their other activities, and then they will be okay. Brekum, the ideal time to also look at again falls within that time period. 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Play your game, you are done. Kumasi has a stadium that has lighting facilities. Like yesterday, the game was fixed for 4:30 p.m. So you can play your matches in Kumasi at 4:30.
Yes.
Accra, 4:30 p.m. You can do it.
Yes.
So we can look at the specific locations and then look at a certain time zone that is favorable based on certain factors. If you go to Samaboy, there will likely be a peculiar time zone. There will likely be some other issues around that time zone, which means when you fix games for that particular time, you will get what you want. We cannot just rubber stamp the 3 p.m. kickoff time and say that is the best. I think we need to do a revision, sort of look at factors and then come up with favorable time zones. The only time where I believe maybe we can play games simultaneously is when it gets to a crunch period where you need to decide on what, especially for relegation battles, especially for title races. Then you know how to go about it. But if we've not gotten there yet, let's look at when we can fix games. I think we can do it on a weekly basis or after every 2 weeks, where you engage with the locals because they know what is happening. So the competitions department of the FA engages with these teams, the locals, try to understand how peculiar their situation is. And then you can know how to fix out some of these games at specific times. I think it will help. The 3 p.m. is not helping. There are health implications, and we should be ready to commission maybe a medical inquiry sort of the health implications of playing GPL matches at 3 p.m. And then we also do some kind of research, try to source opinions from people, those who go to the stadium, those who don't go to the stadium, the players, conduct a survey. Let them give their opinions as to the implications of playing at 3 p.m., what it means to them, how it affects them, and what do they think should be the way forward. Let's find solutions like this, which in my opinion, will be workable. And then we can improve how the game is played here. But if we still continue with the 3 p.m., I beg to say it is not really helping. It is not helping. The referees report, the weather is too hot.
But, we are laughing about it, but it is true. 3 p.m. for anybody doing a vigorous activity such as playing elite level football in Ghana, it's physically tasking. It is very, very demanding on them. So I hope the FA looks into it. I really, really hope the FA looks into it because, look, how many people would want to leave their home at 3 p.m. to go and watch a Ghana Premier League game at a facility where there's not enough shade? That even puts fans off, and it will mean that they won't go and enjoy the game. So it's something the FA needs to think about. All right, Michael, let's talk about the UEFA Champions League. The UEFA Champions League is back tonight, the start of the quarterfinals. Arsenal are traveling to Portugal to take on Sporting CP. And then you have Real Madrid taking on Bayern Munich. We'll talk about the Real Madrid-Bayern Munich game. I like that game because it is the most played game in the history of the Champions League. We'll come to that in a second. But initial thoughts on Sporting CP versus Arsenal. We saw how Sporting CP made it to this stage. We saw Arsenal also make it here. The last few weeks have not been too pleasant for Arsenal. Lost the League Cup final, got dumped out of the FA Cup over the weekend, and now tonight they have to go to the Jose Aveladze, I believe, to go and get something from that first leg.
I think it is a difficult game for us now, judging by various factors. The injury situation in the Arsenal camp, their state of mind or their mindset, their psychological state, owing to the defeat and elimination in the FA Cup, and then prior to that, their defeat to Manchester City in the Carabao Cup. It's all affected the Arsenal team. I was reading excerpts from a press conference where I think it was David Raya, where he said they are solely behind Mikel Arteta and they need to use the disappointment in recent games as a fuel to push them to do better against Sporting CP. But if this game was at the Emirates, it would have been different. With it being played in Lisbon at the Jose Alvalade, there is a venue where Sporting CP draws inspiration from for nights like these. They draw energy from. Their fans come in and then they are filled with belief. They are filled with confidence, and then they channel that into supporting their players through thick and thin. So it makes it a bit tricky and difficult for Arsenal. It is not a full-strength Arsenal side. They have issues that they have to cope with in terms of personnel. And then their psyche, their state of mind too, is a bit affected. Now, Sporting City have decent players, and Arsenal will know this all too well. Because just some few years ago, these same teams met in the Europa League, and Sporting CP eliminated Arsenal. And Sporting CP, I want to believe, have grown from that state. Although they've lost some players, they still have been able to keep the core of that team. And I so much love the attack. It is full of explosiveness and then lethal finishes. Luis Suarez did not play during the weekend because he was suspended. So it means he gets a well-deserved rest. He went for the international break. He comes back. He's rested for that weekend Portuguese League game. And he has to start fresh in a Champions League game against Arsenal. He's a combative attacker. He's always giving defenders a ride for their money. He will not allow you a breathing space. That is what Luis Suarez does. And then he has technicians behind him. The explosive Yannick Atamo on the right, Francisco Trancao playing as a number 10, and then Pedro Gonçalves playing on the left-hand side. And these are players with different profiles who can weave magic at any point in time. Interestingly, all the attackers behind Luis Suarez are capable of creating and scoring. So it makes Sporting CP a difficult opponent for Arsenal to play. They have a solid midfield, a solid defense, although they can be a bit erratic on a given day. But what it means is that even if Arsenal are going to have chances to attack Sporting CP, the same applies to Sporting CP. They are going to have a fair decent chance, judging by where the game will be played, to attack Arsenal. And I've seen Arsenal not play with that defensive suave they had at the start of the season. They seem to have lost a certain spark defensively. They have become shaky, they've become unconvincing, they have conceded goals as well. And so it is a potential banana skin for me. I will not be surprised if Sporting CP takes the fight to Arsenal and either they beat Arsenal or they draw against them. I will not be surprised if something like this happens. One important aspect of this game that will likely draw a lot of intimidation against Arsenal and for that particular player is Victor Gyökeres. We all know how he forced himself out of Sporting CP just to engineer the Arsenal move. And it is still fresh in the minds of these players and most especially the fans of Sporting CP. He was once a darling boy. They adored him, they hailed him, and he treated them in that manner. They've not forgotten it. And then luckily for them, the player who replaced Gyökeres has made them not to miss him. He's done something. So I think it's going to be interesting. You expect the atmosphere to be charged. You expect much more energy. You expect much more intimidation from the fans.
Hello, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. We'll have to call you back. Your line is beginning to get a little unstable. So we'll have to call you back. So kindly reposition yourself. We'll call you back in a second. We'll get back to Michael in a bit. His line is a little unstable. But Ray, what's your take on all of this? Michael speaks about Sporting CP's run to this point. The fact that they'll be pumped up, they'll be inspired to play the game. Luis Suarez, their forward, is fresh, he's in form. There's the Victor Gyökeres factor. They would want to, beat him, ex-player. But Sporting are winless. They've met Arsenal 7 times. They haven't won any game. They've drawn 4 and lost 3, including a 5-1 loss at the same venue a few years ago. Was it? Yeah, last season. Arsenal went there and strolled in and walked away with a 5-1 result.
Yeah, and that tells quite a lot about the kind of game we are going to see today. Arsenal would go into that game hoping to bounce back from their recent struggles. For Sporting CP, they are on quite a run in their league. The last time they lost a game in the league was as far back as the start of the year. That was against Vitória Guimarães. Okay, and even that game was a League Cup game. So in terms of trying to push for the title, they have been there and about. Okay. The last time they actually lost a game in the Champions League was against Bodo. They found a way to come back to progress to the stage of the competition. It tells a lot about the mentality of this team. It tells a lot about how this team go into games. It tells a lot about how they go into games with the mentality of not wanting to lose. That in itself is a good point. Now, in that team, they have very dangerous players. Okay. There are some very, very good players in there. You talk about Colombian forward Luis Suarez, who scored 24 goals in 25 for them already this time. 24 goals in the Portuguese league. Okay. And then you look at his contribution to the team in terms of the Champions League as well. He scored 5 goals and managed 2 assists for them this time. He's one of the players we'll be hoping can turn things around for them, can make things happen for them. And interestingly, he came in to replace Gyökeres. I mean, he's been able to hold the line pretty well. He came from Almeria and even before joining them, he was banging in the goals for Almeria before joining them. Now, what has worked for Sporting is that they have just, they struggled post the departure of Amorim.
Okay.
They found a way to just go back to keeping it simple. Okay. They found a way to just keep going. Just go back to basics. Amorim was playing his 3-back system. Borges came in, tried to change this a bit. Tried to change it a bit. But,
okay.
He struggled. And then he had to revert to what he knew what to do the best. So Borges himself has found a way to get these boys to deliver for him without some of the top players, okay? Or without playing the Amorim way, let me put it that way. Now, still in that team, there's a certain Katamu. His Mozambican. He was part of Amorim's squad, one of the fine wingers in that team. There's Trincao as well, who plays for Portugal. And Trincao himself has been one of the most assist providers for the team. So he comes in as a forward, comes in as that playmaker. Trincao on his day can cause lots of problems. Already this time in the Champions League, he's scored 4 goals, provided 4 assists. In the league too, he's been explosive as well. In the league, he's provided as many as 10 assists already and managed 16 goals. So Trincao again comes in as one of those players who can cause. And Pedro Goncalves, another player who worked very hard under Amorim. He scores goals, he provides assists. And so you look at
this is
that
Sporty
attack
FM, the voice of sport.
They would ask lots of questions of this Arsenal backline. Okay, and Sporting will go into this game feeling very brave, feeling very bold, especially on the back of what's happened to Arsenal in the last few games they've played. They've seen Arsenal struggle against Southampton. They've seen Arsenal struggle against Manchester City. And I'm sure Borges would be looking at them and saying, well, this is a beatable team. And Nathan, I think that a lot of us look at this Arsenal team and think that, well, because they have a very good defense, they are not beatable. This is a team that can be found out and beaten. As to whether Sporting can do this over 2 legs, I don't know. But I think at home, regardless of how good Arsenal are, regardless of how
Sporty FM
explosive they are, I think that Arsenal have their own limitations. Arsenal have had their own struggles in the middle of the park, and they've struggled to get some of their best performers to deliver for them up front. That is where the problem comes in for them. Defensively, they've been solid. So I think that with the attack line of that Sporting team and how good they are, and I mean, you talk about their defense as well. You can talk about Morita playing in that middle of the park, a very experienced customer in there, a very experienced player. He's been in that team for a very long time. He knows his stuff in that middle of the park, together with Dibast. Dibast possibly will be coming into this game. And so, in terms of goalkeeping, Rui Silva, I don't think he needs any introduction. We know him. We know his capabilities. Defensively, Inacio is not someone we don't know. And there's Diomande as well. Diomande plays for Ivory Coast. I mean, Nathan, lots of good players in that team who can cause Arsenal problems. I think that Arsenal will go into this game as the favourite. Sporting will start this game as underdogs, but at home and with the quality they have, if they believe in themselves, I think that they can take the game to Arsenal and possibly go to Anfield, go to Emirates with a decent result. I think that over 2 legs, you might say Arsenal are the favourites to progress. But I think that Sporting, your typical banana skin, Sporting would ask questions, and I think that Arsenal may struggle to deal with this Porto team, especially this Sporting team, especially if they go into the game and decide to play and not give too much respect to Arsenal.
Yeah, but the point is this. I mean, as I said, Sporting are yet to beat Arsenal in 7 games. They've met 7 times, right? According to the record, they've drawn 3. Drawn 4, lost 3.
Yeah,
I think that looking at all the things that Arsenal have been, getting dumped out of the FA Cup by Southampton is a real stinger. And you have to look at some of these games and say that Arsenal will and should respond to whatever happened to them over the weekend. Will it be an easy game? I don't think so. Will it be another 5-1? Less likely, but I think that Arsenal have enough quality, and I think that the simple fact that look, they got dumped out of the FA Cup, I think it wakes them up to go in and get a result.
We said same about them. That look, they got beaten by Manchester City in the EFL Cup final, and so they were going to respond against Southampton in the FA Cup. They went back to sleep. They were beaten, and
you played that game 10 times. Arsenal win 9.
The last time Sporting lost to Arsenal 5-0. Okay, the last time they lost 5-0.
5-1 actually.
5-1. Mm-hmm. It was in November 2024. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was when they were being coached by Teixeira.
This is Sporty
Teixeira was their coach.
The voice of sport.
And we all know, post the departure of Ruben Amorim, Porto have had to go through quite a bit.
Well,
now if you pay attention to what happened post the departure of Amorim, you realize that Arsenal played them at a good time when they had issues trying to sort out their coaching matters. Okay, so Rui Borges comes in and then tries to figure out how to play with this team, and he came in December 2024. That was after Arsenal had punished them. And ever since he came in, he's been able to steady the ship. He's been able to actually get them to perform. So I think that you won't look at Sporting CP and say, well, they were as bad as that team Arteta beat in 2024. I think that they've improved tremendously this season, and playing at home in the first leg, I think that everything plays into their hands. They are playing Arsenal at a very good time. They play Arsenal at a time where there might not be Saka in this game. There might be, there might not be. I think Saka could be missing this game, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, Arsenal do have injury concerns.
Yes, they have injury
Over
concerns.
the weekend, Gabriel Magalhaes was withdrawn from the FA Cup game, but I don't know if he comes back.
Saka injured. There's Timber possibly not going to play in this one. Nkapie injured. They have quite a few injury issues. But again, Nathan, you look at that Arsenal midfield with Rice and Zubimendi.
Yeah,
it's not your rock solid midfield.
But it's a midfield
they seem to have their own issues.
Yeah, but it's a midfield that has gotten them through the group stage
Odegaard
and beaten.
Possibly returns.
Okay.
After playing just 60 minutes in the last game against Southampton.
I wouldn't start him. I think that maybe Eze starts, but I don't know Eze's situation. He withdrew from England duty.
Has an injury as well. As to whether he'll be fit enough to play, because I think in the last game he didn't play. Yes, in Arsenal's last game we didn't see Eze in that team. The game in which they lost to Southampton, I don't think Eze played that game. But let me just check that for you. But I don't think Eze started that game. No, Eze didn't start.
Eze didn't start.
Yes.
There was a midfield three of Norgard,
even on the bench.
Odegaard, and Kai Havertz.
Yes. So I think Sporting are playing Arsenal at a very good time, where Arsenal cannot boast of the full complement of their squad, and Arsenal are not playing they are not at their best, especially after back-to-back defeat. So you look at Sporting and say, well, Sporting can just get the job done at home against Arsenal tonight. I won't be surprised if Sporting beat Arsenal in this game.
Look, I think that Arsenal will walk away from that game with something that allows them to qualify at home. I agree with you on the fact that they may not be 100% full strength. But I look at the critical parts, right, of the team. Raya returns. I think the centre-back pairing will make sense. I hope Gabriel is not too injured. I think whoever they pair with Saliba, I think that player should be able to, or that pairing should be able to keep Sporting Lisbon at bay, or at least compete. Because you can't write off Luis Suarez's form. And Arsenal will have to think about Luis Suarez and how they deal with that problem. What concerns me about Arsenal on the day will be the fact that will they be able to create so much to get a lot of goals on the day? Because I think what makes Arsenal, or what will make the tie comfortable for Arsenal, is if they go to Sporting CP and get themselves a very good first leg win. Right? 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, whatever. Can they do 5-1 again? It's not the same team that played. If you go back to November 2024, compare that team to this one, they've had injury problems. I still think that Arsenal have enough to be able to not match, because I think that they walk into it as favorites. They should have enough about them to do a brilliant job and get themselves a good result. The problem, though, is this. One, that back line has to react better than what they did against Southampton. The individual mistakes were just too many. And they'll have to be very perfect at the back. And if there's anything Arsenal have done this season, in large part, is the ability to stay resolute as a defense and stop teams from getting a lot out of them. So I suspect Arsenal to go back to that. It would mean that, in principle, they can probably keep Luis Suarez relatively quiet, right? But it will depend on the mistakes, because on Saturday against Southampton, the mistakes were just too many. Just too many mistakes were made by Arsenal's backline and the individuals in that backline. So tonight, they have to be up for it. Mentally, they need to be locked in. And I think I agree with you on one point. They need to recognize that Sporting are not the same team they beat 5-1. This Sporting team will ask questions. Plus, they are buoyed by the return of Victor Gyökeres. They would want to prove a point, even though their coach has indicated that Gyökeres will get a respected welcome back, and I think that's fair. I think that what they would want to do is to put themselves in a position where they can take that second leg to London and see how they can fight. It will be an interesting one. I still think Arsenal will walk away from this with a good result.
Well, I mean, Arsenal are coming up against a team that has scored as many as 72 goals in the Portuguese league. They scored the most goals.
How many have Arsenal scored? Arsenal have scored a good number.
I mean, of course, the opposition won't be the same. Of course, the quality of opposition both teams will face in their league will be
But Arsenal have scored 61 in England, but of course, I mean...
You look at Suarez, Katamu, and then Trincao, and you know that Arsenal would be in a battle tonight, and Goncalves. These are players.
I mean, it will be a war.
They are relentless players. They'll put pressure on that Arsenal backline. They would find a goal or two.
It will be.
Arsenal would have to find a way to respond, and that's why I'm saying, look, Arsenal are not in a good place at the moment, and I don't see how they go past Sporting at their backyard.
You think tonight? So just tonight, you think that Arsenal may find it tough?
Arsenal will find it tough, and depending on the kind of results they get,
okay.
I mean, it just complicates that whole second leg, even for Arsenal at their own backyard.
Okay,
but I think that Sporting do their job tonight.
I think Arsenal to win both legs. Let me read a quote from Mikel Arteta. He said, "Quote: We have to have some perspective on how difficult what we have done up until now has been. We are very clear what happened and why it happened. This is football. I think what you have to be is clear, understand why it happened, and when you understand that, be better, and that is what we have to do." And he says, there are no favorites in this. Okay, so this is Maxi Araujo speaking on the Sporting side. He said, quote, "There are no favorites in the playoff. They are playing well, we are too." And then Rui Borges says, quote, "No, I don't believe in that. And great teams always want to win. They will be more focused, willing to show their collective individual capacity. And so I think it will make it difficult for us." End quote. I agree. I think Arsenal will find it. They'll dig deep and play a better performance, right? As to what we saw. I think there'll be more heart. There'll be more effort. Okay. Now, you mentioning the Arsenal medical problem. Saka, Eze, Timber are all out. This is a great opportunity for players like Trossard, right? I don't know if Ben White starts at right back, but if Ben White is playing tonight, he has to play better than what he did against Southampton. Again, the errors were too many. Yeah. And at this level, Sporting are 10 times better than Southampton. So if you make the mistakes, they will punish you. That's a fact. But I like what Arteta said. They need to understand the tough period they are going through, draw inspiration from it. Because I get the feeling that Arsenal, I won't say they are rattled, but, the losses to City and Southampton, they will have to realize that it's the last 2 months of the season.
They're in a bad place.
Lock in, execute, finish the season well, and I think they can start that run tonight. Let's talk about the other game, and I love the other game so much. So much history, so much tradition, so much.
Sporty FM.
In terms of pedigree between these two sides, Real Madrid taking on Bayern Munich. Michael is back on. Yes, I think Michael is joining us on this. Michael, hi, are you there?
Yep, I am here.
Back on the Zoom. Wonderful. It looks like the people have decided to give you back electricity. The 29th installment of Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich is happening. Michael, Real Madrid didn't get ready for this game well at all. They lost late on at Mallorca over the weekend. For Bayern Munich, they had to use the tougher way or the tougher route. They came back from 2 down to win by 3-2 over the weekend. Interesting. Vincent Kompany is taking on Real Madrid. I think this should be the first time in his managerial career. I think so. And for Arbeloa, he's guided his team here. Arbeloa knows the value of the Champions League or the European Cup, what it means to Real Madrid. Your thoughts on this one? This is an interesting tie. The two teams are at different places in their season journey. Real Madrid are hunting Barcelona down for the La Liga, which I think is almost gone. Bayern Munich are sitting pretty at the top of the Bundesliga, and it's a matter of when, not if, they win the Bundesliga. Your thoughts on this tie? Glamour tie, Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich, they clash tonight at the Bernabeu.
Yeah, but I think it's one of the best games you would want to see in European football, especially at the top level when it's in the Champions League. And I think I stand to be corrected. This game has been the most played fixture between top teams in the Champions League.
Yes.
They played 29 times.
Yes, it's the Champions League's favorite match.
Exactly. So they'll play their 29th installment today. And like you rightly said, it is hardly the ideal preparation for Real Madrid, judging by what has happened to them right after the international break. They didn't need the result against Mallorca to prep for a game against Bayern Munich. They needed to build on their confidence and their solid run because they had gone 5 straight competitive matches without being beaten. They had won all 5, which included results against Manchester City, beating City both home and away. And it was a game that Madrid were tagged as the underdogs because they had injury situations. City seemed to have all the players available, but Madrid turned it around. So it means they have the character, the mentality to turn adversity into an opportunity. And that is why I think that irrespective of a result against Mallorca, it does not pit Madrid as the underdogs. It does not make them look like the team that needs to work hard to beat. I think it is Bayern.
This is Sporty FM, the voice
everything
of
will favor Bayern. But if you are looking for a team that can turn things around and make what looks like the desperate situation look so calm, it is this Madrid team. And I think in here, they also have leaders in their playing body who can transform the fortunes of game around at any given time. Trust me, Bayern have not faced an opponent like Madrid so far this season. Yes, they've played Paris Saint-Germain, they've played Arsenal, but these are teams who are just because of their form, the qualities they possess. No team that Bayern has played so far this campaign oozes character and class like Madrid does. And where this game will be played as well, it is the Santiago Bernabeu. Definitely, it changes the dynamics around this game. So, on paper, judging by what has happened so far this season, yes, Bayern carry a threat. They have excellent players who are on their top form. Michael Olise has double figures for goals and assists in all competitions. The same applies to Luis Diaz, double figures for goal and assist. Judging by the fitness of Harry Kane as to whether he can play a part in this game, he also is one of the lethal finishers in the game. Yes, Bayern has a solid team. Kompany has been coaching them well. It looks to have finally cracked the code, and he knows how to bring the best out of his team without upsetting the balance and then their rhythm. He can make some changes to their lineup, and it will still keep the Bayern structure intact. I think Kompany now knows his team. Yes, everything points towards Bayern, but again, it is Real Madrid, and there is a certain careful aspect of you analyzing games like this, especially when it involves Real Madrid. You are so careful that you don't want to rule them out entirely, because anything can happen, anything at all. nobody expected that game against Man City was going to be a Valverde game where he steps up, scores a hat-trick, and delivers for them. And again, you can't rule out any single player in the Madrid team who is capable of changing the dynamics of this game. A Vini Jr., a Kylian Mbappe, a Jude Bellingham. You can't rule that out. But it would all have to be about the selection of Alvaro Arbeloa. You see, the game against Man City, the first leg, everything that he did was about his selection. Madrid decided to sacrifice a certain attacking quality. Let's load our team with a lot of attackers so that we can attack Man City. He sacrificed that for team balance and then midfield solidity. So their middle was so solid that it provided that necessary cover or protection for their defense. And then they also had transitional players who did not need a lot of possession, but they needed moment. So check the first goal Valverde scored. It was moment.
Yeah.
Courtois will kick the ball long, then Valverde will use the moment. I've said someone like O'Reilly, and then he has a 1v1 against Donnarumma. He scored from that moment. And Madrid are captains of that. They are the best team when it has to do with transitional play, using moments to punish your opponent. So Bayern can have all the possession, they can dominate. If Arbeloa gets his selection right, if the team has the necessary balance, I think it is going to be a difficult game for Bayern. I won't lie. Because of all Bayern's dominance and what they are capable of doing, I don't think they have a solid midfield that is enough to dominate games like this.
Okay.
Bayern's major threat has been their wing attackers, judging by how explosive they are in terms of creation and then scoring. Michael Olise, Luis Diaz, and then Harry Kane. That has been Bayern's major strength area. Their midfield can be combated and fought against at any point in time. Their defense, not really one that you can trust, that they can build a solid wall and then prevent teams from penetrating. No. Upamecano, Jonathan Tah, they are just one mistake away from causing a goal-scoring opportunity for the opponent. Manuel Neuer not in his element again. So I think the dynamics around the game means that Madrid will definitely have their moment, but it is about them seizing it. And I think it all boils down to the selection that Alvaro Arbeloa will make for this game. If he's going to go for 3-man in attack, because what helped him in the Man City game was that Mbappe was out injured, so it made his job quite simpler. Now, when Mbappe is in there, I think he affects the rhythm and the balance of this Madrid team, and it looks like almost every attack has to pass through him. I don't know who made it that, but in the game against Mallorca, it was similar. Almost every attack had to pass through him. In the games against City, when he was not in, then Madrid were not so predictable. So the attack will be waved through any channel and any other player. And I think that is what Valverde benefited from to score the 3 goals he scored in the first leg. But when Mbappe is in there, he is that go-to guy. The attack has to pass through him. He wants to be involved in every major decision that will be made up front. And I think it does not help them. And how it does not help is that in possession, they become predictable. Without possession, it does not contribute to the pressing structure. And that makes their press not so coordinated, and it becomes an issue. So I think Madrid are rich in terms of attacking options, but it also rids them of the necessary balance. In this game, they need to have the midfield. They need to seize it in terms of dominating the numbers and also controlling. Then you can control games without the ball. You control how the opponent will pass, their passing channels. So you restrict them to making more progressive passes, and they'll be limited to more sideway passes because your midfield number dominates DS, and they don't have much more spaces to pass into. They can look at some of these things. And so I think the selection of Arbeloa will be crucial to this game. If he gets this right, Madrid definitely will fight for their champions. If he does not crack that code, I think it is Bayern's game. And that is how tricky this game. I think it's a 50-50 game.
Yeah.
There is no favorite. and there is no underdog. Whoever seizes the moment and get things right on the day, I think will eventually carry the day.
Quite interesting. That game is at the Bernabeu tonight. Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. We'll see how it goes. Bayern Munich are waiting gingerly to see Harry Kane's status. He had a bit of an ankle niggle, and they are hoping that he will be available to play. The hope is that when he's around, things can happen. You mentioned Luis Diaz; he will be a threat. Serge Gnabry, well, he hasn't really picked up enough rhythm, but he scored a couple of goals in their last few games. We'll see. It will be an interesting one. I go back to, was it last season, Michael, where Bayern Munich took the lead and then Real Madrid, it must have been 2 years ago, when they took the lead and then...
2 seasons ago.
Yes.
Under Thomas Tuchel.
Joselu scored later on to send Real Madrid through. That took them all the way to the fairy tale end when they won the Champions League. We'll see how it goes. Michael, we'll catch up later. Let me leave you. Enjoy the day. We'll catch up tomorrow to review the games. Hopefully there should be exciting games, big talking points, and then we preview the other quarterfinal games tomorrow. But do enjoy the day. Will you go and see the rest of the Kotoko game, or you have other things to do?
No. I won't be. It's exams week, so man will be busy.
Yes. You are trying to rack up the A's and stack up on the GPA.
and tell Raymond I know what he did last week, but I won't tell.
Thank you very much. You can send me the details via my DM. I'll gladly read them. Michael, take care. Enjoy the day. We'll catch up later.
All right. Bye.
All right. That was Michael Asari-Boadu. Time check is 9:11. Your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. Let me go to some of your WhatsApp messages and then we'll open the phone lines. Okay. I think we have a message that's coming. I can't tell where. Maybe it's hiding somewhere. All right. 054-257-1061. Okay. Somebody says, I believe Hohoe United should be punished severely because it's not good to do that in football. Okay. We've read that. The message. This one.
Sporty FM.
I see. Felix from Pokwasi says he's in Cameroon. Thank you, Felix, for your kind word. All the best in Cameroon, though. I know what you're doing there, but that's fine. Nathan and Raymond, Achu from 37, says, I'm a Bavarian. I'm less optimistic about tonight's game with Real Madrid. Gnabry and Olise are toothless. Hey, are you sure? Carl is a kid, and Kane's big game catalog is egregiously bad. So our chances are pretty much down to Luis Diaz, and that scares me. That being said, I have trust in company. So let's see how it plays out. Okay, we'll all see how it plays out tonight. Ray, do you know that Bayern Munich have a habit of exiting the Champions League at this stage?
Yeah.
Yes, they have a habit.
They have
of doing that. They've exited the competition at this stage on 10 different occasions.
They show a lot of promise from start, and then they just die out.
So they will have to fight against history and the jinx that has been holding them back from progressing. We'll see. Time check is 9:13. Let's open the phone line. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on the same number. Let me take this caller. Hello. All right. 054-257-1061. 030-279-4805. Let me take this caller. Hello. Yep.
Hello, good morning, bro.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Bro.
Okay, all right.
Charlie, shout out to Raymond over there, bro.
Yeah.
Charlie, I want to ask you, this question is going to you and Raymond. I don't know, I want to know the reason why Wafa pull up on the league last 3 seasons.
You want to know why who?
Wafa. I know that they pull up on the league, say they are not playing the league again. I want to know the reason.
Yeah, I think Wafa went down to Division 1 And then, Ray, correct me, I think they changed their... Yeah, I know they got relegated, yes.
Yeah,
they got relegated to Division 1. And then that's where they are now, yes. So Wafa are in Division 1.
They are in Division 1?
Yes, they didn't withdraw from the league. They got relegated.
I think they say they will not play again.
No. They got relegated, but they are in Division 1.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. That's good. It's about this Hohoe United, their decision.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. I'm not supporter of their decision. What they are doing is not fair. They are not being fair for what they are doing. The decision that they are taking is not good. Mm-hmm. But if we are against the decision that they take, it's like we are not being fair to them. Because they say you have a right. The rules say you have a right to appeal. So they say they appeal. But the FA say they have to be that 3-match ban. Now, teaching that 3 ban has to work. So they say if you want to ban the 3 matches, there is a conduct pack there. What do you call it? Heart of Lion Park. Mm-hmm. You have to give them Heart of Lion because Heart of Lion Park is close to Hohoe, right? But they refuse. The FA refuse. They bring them to Accra here, so they will have to fly all the way to Volta region to Accra. You see, but the first band that they play in Gamade, the decision that they take against them is not fair to them. So them all they say. So that this thing that the director that the right to AC, they are not hearing anything from AC. You see, why FA is not saying anything about the issue? That's the point. That's my point. You see, why are they not saying anything to them? They have to hear something about the issue, but they're not saying anything to them. So it's like they are not being fair to them. You see, I understand their situation, but they don't have to take that decision. They are wrong to taking that decision. See, after that decision, I'm not support of that decision. But if we are keep going like this, it's not better we ban the league for now. It's not better because next season we will see other clubs will pull up. Because last season we see a club pull up. This season club is pulling up. So next season club will pull up. So we have to take decision of those things. It's not better we ban the league now. Then we plan well before we start the league. It's not gonna work. You see, it's not being fair. If we are doing that, we are just disgracing ourselves. So how long we are going to continue like this, bro? Okay. I'm not support of that, bro.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see. We don't know what the FA will say, so we'll have to wait and see. But I get your point. I think you make a solid point about we have to put our things together. All right. Thank you so much. Anyway, talking about Wafa, so Wafa went down to Division 1 and then they left Zone 2 to go and start all over again in Division 2, Zone 3. So now they are in Division 1, Zone 3. So that is Wafa's story. Let me take this. Hold on. Let me take this particular caller. Hello.
Hello, Nathan.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Michael.
Michael, hi. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
You see, so right now, no, the FA, no, they're not talking anything or they have not issued any statement.
No, that's what we are all asking. The FA hasn't issued any statement on Hohoe's withdrawal.
So why are they doing this? You see, sometimes you have brought a decision. You sanctioned Hohoe United.
Yes.
And you have to bring a statement to clarify that because they are making, in quote unquote, like they are making noise, they are saying what they have to see. So if you don't bring out a statement to clarify things, I don't know how to even put it dents the image of the league. Mm-hmm. Understand? Mm-hmm. And even if there are sponsors willing to sponsor, they are not going to come because the league, that team will say, okay, I'm withdrawing because of a decision taken by the FA, and you don't come out to justify why you give that sanction to the team. You see, it doesn't speak well of the league. Understand? So I urge the FA to come out and justify why they did that because they said they were going to appeal. So you two have to come out, issue a statement so that you justify why you sanction them.
Okay.
Understand? Because it drives away potential sponsors of our league. Understand?
Yeah.
And again to the issue about what happened at Bayern. You see, last time I was asking you about the stadium we played at Austria, the N-Cyprus.
Yes.
Understand? You were talking about the total cost of the stadium of the reconstruction, about $40 million.
Yes. 40 million euros.
40 million euros.
Yes.
Sorry. So Ghana Hana or in this country, so we Charlie, yeah, bro. So we have to allow students to mold that technical deben that. So say if rainfall, heavy rainfall, now from our to actually a country, Ghana, 4 AFCON trophies with multiple under 20s and under 17 World Cup trophies. You need stadium, Papa Bako. You need drainage system and so far. A bit in your film, a bit in your bubble. In Europe, rain go for like 30-40 minutes. But still they play ball.
No, they go play.
Are they like?
Oh, they play, sir. Every player.
So what be the problem? Charlie then cry a high Kumasi. So that's what I they talk. When you say sponsor, the person be sponsor. How you go fika? Today we they play ball. Now it's water. Then you go stop the game. Now the following day about to us way like a see when fan. How many times we see? We'll be able to see serious or person we know football nankasa. So the stadium where they close about say 2 years ago, 18 months, 6 months, then they close the renovation. Now what them pan no more? Listen, then pan what we they doing on that pitch? I know unless referee crab ball, no they have a pin pitch so just a ball never bounce. 2026, will they do this thing?
Raymond was asking me the same question.
Unless you pick a ball near the pin park, and so I say, ball never bounce 2-3 times and suddenly a ball. Oh, Charlie, Mummy and Ferry Cacao, you never go as you Chroma, in Penifon, Mummy go as you. And I do in a call viral. We cry such call viral, because the idea and to say, crying for you. Yeah, Penania, yeah. Charlie, Mummy, Jaisa. Me Jaisa stadium to me renovate stadium 18 months, 6 months, and it's no cover with free Accra near the Aba, the real near the Chroma, empty dear a car 4 year and Kaya Kobo, the news and fine, into still now you take lessons from it, and as soon as that's yes, I do. Nathan, I do when I did be a mechan, and I say, boys, never you man or mobile the car, Musi, he come, and yet. Emma born the country, into last one country, young Musino, Ghana Premier League near and then we championship go back near the idea near Chabet, the Dinia Koda Asa, Ghana Premier Junior Kotoka House, 1 Asa, 3 points, a real league, Nasa will be a blast stars, your cover cup, you say about your no recycling, sign every such as it. Mummy and take it too. Naya dream Pamo man, all sectors, sports, Bibian, Papa, never boy, never silly.
Michael, thank you so much. All right, let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello, Raymond.
Nathan here.
Good morning.
Yes.
This is Rainy.
All right. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling. So right now I'm roaming. So let's say I'm at Kawukudi.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, I want to park so that I can talk well.
Okay.
So you see. You know what the last caller said? On share Premier League, you know. On share, because on share and let me even borrow this guy on TikTok. High, and high, and high. All these things are happening in Ghana, and we want to get local players into our national teams. All these things are happening in Ghana. GFA is not saying anything. All these things, banding of teams, they are not issuing any statements. It will rain, and they have to postpone a match for the second and play half of the match, and at that time. How old is Ghana? 69 years, Raymond. 69 years, and we call ourselves football nation. We don't have anything to write home about. When it rains, we have to pause. So it's okay. If you're playing a very serious tournament, an international qualifiers or something, and we have this issue, are you going to postpone the match and play the match the following day?
But I mean, this. I mean, it's rained. It's force majeure. So there's really nothing they could have done. I get the point about facilities not being strong enough to withstand rain. But I mean, it's
exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly what I'm saying, Raymond. That is the point too. It's not about the rain that you can't stop the rain. But what will you do to make the rain that is falling will not interact or intervene in whatever you are doing? That is the point. That's what I'm saying, that if you're having a serious international football match or something, some qualifiers, then it rains heavily like that. Then you can't do anything about it. Look, you see, some of us we would like to see the old Premier League where Kotoko has. You see people having their flags, and it's a big deal, horning and all of that all over the place. Gone are the days when the Premier League was a Premier League. Now, that's a Premiership or English Premiership, but we didn't really bother about that. We are concerned about ours. Now, we want to even watch Arsenal more than want to watch Kotoko because it's not nice. Me, this thing that is going on, this look at it very well because one day, as a former caller said, it's becoming too much. One day, Ghana, I am my own with one match with Ghana.
but are we not already there?
We are there, but you see, they say it will manifest. It will manifest soon. Mm-hmm. Soon they are all. It has happened. Spiritual is there, but it's left with the physical manifestation.
Okay.
It will manifest. Then we'll be there. Blaming people. You see, they should listen to programs like your show, morning show, and anything that Sporty does. You see, what I like about Sporty is you say the fact. You don't attack anybody, and you don't allow anybody to attack anybody on your frequency. So they should listen to Sporty more because Ghana Kasa. We will tell you the truth. Ghana is going to crack. So they should continue. We will one day be there, and we'll tell us that Ghana, we are hosting a show. We are hosting a program, but we are going to play the ball at Morocco. But it is our home.
The voice of sport.
Yo, Mama, bye.
All right. Thank you so much. 9:26. Let's take a few more calls, and then we'll proceed to other things. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. All right, let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm calling from Sport M, Machimota.
All right, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. My regards to Raymond and all of you over there.
Yeah.
Thank you for the good job you are doing. Yes, I want to talk a little bit about this Hohoe United something.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have made useful contributions, and I also want to add my voice to it.
Sporty FM.
You see, Jesus Christ said, if you have 100 sheep and one of them gets lost, you abandon the 99 and go and search for that one. And when you see that one, you put that one on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
You see, yes, the FA must be a father to all the clubs. Understand? And they must make sure that they are all treated fairly. Because in the first place, this Hohoe club is taking jobs for the people over there. You know, the youth there and the market women, and apart from the job is creating, it's also giving some people some kind of joy. Because if you watch, most of the time their stadium is always full. I don't know the capacity, the number of people, but full is full. You understand? So if something happens like that, they should take their time and make sure that, everybody feels part of being a Ghanaian and feels that he or she has been treated fairly. That's what we are talking about. But if it becomes, I don't care, I have the power, I'm the FA president, I do whatever I like, and because somebody's name does not sound so lovely, I will treat them anyhow. That's not that way.
But we don't know. We don't know for a fact if that's what's happening. It's Hohoe that's saying that they feel that they are not being treated fairly, so they will have to prove their case, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They have to.
So we don't, because I've asked them so many times. They haven't told me what it is that they feel there's unfair treatment about.
They are not being treated fairly.
Yes.
They are not taking their case.
Good. So what is the context of this? Hold on. I'm coming. What is the context?
Yes,
there was a Premier League game. Their fans allegedly misconducted themselves according to the rule book. So they were punished according to the law. They were given a home ban. They feel that not playing 3 matches at home because of the ban will affect them, and it will ultimately cause their relegation.
Okay.
So really, that is the long and short of this case. The fact that they've been giving a home ban.
With all due respect, I also heard that instead of them looking for a stadium around that area, they asked them to come to play in Accra.
Yes, because the FA presented them two options. So the rule is that if you get banned at home, you cannot play in the same region. You will have to play somewhere else. It is part of the punishment.
But the rules are made for man, not man for rules. So we have to be considerate. Because how much do they even make when they play football? And how much does it cost them to convey players from Hohoe to Accra?
Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah.
But also, but you see, then we have to draw. So there's that. But there are also rules. So that is why if you go to other places, teams don't attempt because the rules are strong. They won't care whether you lose money or not. And the rules is how do I say, it's supposed to deter somebody from trying it next time. So I agree with you on the fact that we need to be considerate, but the rules have to be enforced.
Yeah. So I mean, I also remember that there was a time Hohoe United also fell foul of the law, and no action was taken against them.
Which year was this? Which year was this? I have to refer to the record.
You are football people, and you have the record.
Relax. So you said it. So if you know as for the record, I can go and find it. If you can give me the year it happened, it makes my work easy.
I cannot really tell you, but it's something that actually happened. They said they fielded some unqualified prayers. I mean, something that.
Yeah, very good. So if you see, there are different punishments for different crimes. If you field an unqualified player in the world of football, 9 times out of 10 points are taken from you. You are not giving a home ban.
Okay.
You are giving a home ban for violent acts of indiscipline. You beat somebody, you attack somebody. So if you field an unqualified player, points will be taken away from you. You don't get a home ban.
All right, so you think that they deserve their punishment?
Well, this is what I think. No, not necessarily. I'm not saying. All I'm saying is this: if you misconduct yourself at home, you need to be punished. Did they deserve 3 matches? If you ask me, maybe 3 might be a bit too extreme, but the punishment must bite you so much so that you don't repeat it next time. Very good. It must hurt you. That is what I believe.
Okay.
Now, as for the politics of whether they are targeted or not, that is between them and the FA. They will have to prove it. That one they will have to prove. But my point is that, for example, fans cannot beat referees. Fans cannot attack other fans. It's not done anywhere.
It's not done anywhere.
Very good.
Yeah.
It's not done.
Well, thank you for the explanation. And I feel that. Football. If you look at those EPL, you see older people go there. It's fun.
Do you know why they go? Do you know why they go?
Good job.
Do you know why they go?
Hello?
Yes, I'm asking. Do you know why when you see old people going to watch matches in Europe? Do you know why?
Yeah. You know why? Yeah, I know why.
Why?
I know why, because I'm also an elderly man. I told you the other day that I watched Kotokorengi in 1970. I'm also an elderly man.
No problem.
It makes you grow older. It makes you happy.
Yes, but
thinking of so many things.
Very good. But do you know why they do it?
They do it. Again, they have gained the gain from it. They have some gain out of it, apart from the financial aspect of it.
No, you are missing my point. I'm driving you to is that old people will go and watch a game in Europe because it is safe to do so.
It pays to do so.
No, it is safe. You can let your 90-year-old parents can leave their house, go and watch Liverpool and come back, and there's no issue. Do you know? That's what I'm talking about, the safety part.
The safety part is there. And also, the longevity of life is also there.
Fine, whatever. But the number one consideration...
Like in Ghana here, every Saturday they go to Funga. You always think of death. They always see death in front of them. So the last man is shot.
See,
but that area is not like that.
That's why I'm saying that. The number one consideration, when I speak to my friends who have parents who live outside the country, the reason why they take them is that it is safe. And it is the safety part that is not too guaranteed here. That is why. That is why I believe that the rules must be very good, and the FA and the security entities must ensure that the Ghana Football League Center is so good that I can take my kids to go and watch. My elderly parents can go and watch, and there's no fear of an incident. Anyway, thank you so much. Let me bring in other callers.
I wish you the best.
All right, thank you. All right, 9:34. Let's do some other things. Let's do some other things this morning. We have been joined. Okay, before we do that, let me take this final caller, and then we can talk about something interesting that's happening with Swag in the Volta region. Hello.
What are you going to talk about?
What is your problem?
What are you going to talk about? If we talk, it will allow us to talk.
But nobody has stopped you. Make your point and go, so we can also do our show.
I want to. I don't want peace. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I was a long weekend.
It was okay.
I hope the family is good.
Yeah, everybody's fine.
Reach out to everyone. And Nathan.
Yeah.
I said something earlier, and I'll repeat it every time. Ghana football is dead. Nathan.
Uh-huh.
Ghana football is dead.
How is Ghana football dead?
Is it by force to run the football because you have a club in this country? I don't get it. And this thing has been happening not today. And our football is in danger. But people are not looking at that. People are not looking at that side though. See, is it by force that you have a team? So you have to run the affairs of football in this country. And I don't know why we can't get away from that. Like, football people must be with the people who watch football in this country.
Why?
But that's what is going on at the FA. That's what is going on. You go to the Premier League. Is it the FA that manages the Premier League?
Yes, the FA. Where? In Ghana?
In the Premier, in EPL.
No. So the rules are administered by the FA, but the Premier League runs itself.
It was so what can't you do the same here?
Do you know? I'll tell you something. When the FA brought the idea of an autonomous league, all the clubs were asked to contribute money to start the league so that they are like shareholders. Do you know how many clubs? Do you know how many clubs paid?
How many? 5. I don't know. They should play 5 Premier League teams. They should play. They'll play for 4 matches. They'll play like themselves. They'll play like 5 times, like the way they do in Scotland. If you can't afford to play the league, go away. It's not by force.
Mm-hmm.
Our football is in danger. Big danger.
Mm-hmm.
Is it by force to play an 80 Premier League team? Is it by force? What you can't do, is it by force that? Is it if you can't buy Ferrari?
Mm-hmm.
Will you force yourself to go and buy Ferrari?
No.
When you know you don't have money to buy.
No.
So why we do this? Why we do this to ourselves? See, the Scottish people, they know that they can run, is it 12 Premier League teams?
Yeah, they
play among themselves 4 times.
The voice of sports.
So what is wrong with that? 2026, we are playing a football game, and they say it's because of rain. The football is rained off. They are playing this morning. You can't win.
Oh, but Emmanuel, in England, I'm coming. In England,
2026, your football is being rained off.
Aren't matches postponed because of snow?
Big 2026, your football is rained off. Charlie, maybe leave these people, these football people, maybe leave their life to give them. Let's leave them to destroy everything they want to destroy. Leave them. Charlie, I'm talking to Arsenal. They say, how do you call it? They started with, how do you call it, quadruple. quadruple. Now it's not to double. They say that those two caps are just some small caps. They didn't want it. But when they started, we are winning everything. Now the language is, these caps are small caps. And I hope it doesn't get to 0 pool. I hope it doesn't get to that.
You hope it doesn't get where?
To 0 pool.
Oh, how? Arsenal are leading the Premier League. I'm sure they'll win the Premier League. It can't turn to a 0.
Roman will tell you, in the spiritual realms, they are leading only with 3 points.
Oh, how? They lead the table with 7 points. You are saying 3. How?
In the spiritual realms, it's only 3 points.
Oh, that's not true.
Ask Roman. I will tell you. In the spiritual realms, it's 3 points. Because City will beat them. And City have won one match, one outstanding match. They'll win. Then there to be 3 points.
We don't know that for a fact.
I tell you.
Okay, Emmanuel, let me take other calls.
I'm a Ghana football. Let's leave them. Let them run their football. Leave them.
All right, Emmanuel.
Everybody would win them.
Thank you. All right, let's put a pause on the calls. For now. Ray, we've been joined by our very good friend, Eric. Eric Eli Eji is Volta Regional Chairman of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, SWAG. He happens to be the spokesperson or PRO for Pando Heart of Lions as well.
Okay. And he has to tell us why the team has...
Yes, we'll get into why the train has left. Anyway, Eric, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Nate. I'm good.
Yes, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to be here as well. First time here.
Yes, first time having you here. Thank you so much for joining us. We know that SWAG Volta region is doing something quite interesting on the 9th of April.
Yes.
What exactly is happening?
Thank you very much. On the 9th of April, we'll be celebrating our 8th years anniversary. SWAG Volta is the first regional branch for the mother body. We realized that membership to SWAG has always been centralized in Accra. And guys in the Volta region decided that, look, let's put ourselves together and then decentralize the association. So President Kwabena Yeboah, then General Secretary William Eza came to the Volta region on that fateful day, the 1st of April, 1st of February 2019, to inaugurate the Volta regional chapter. We've been existent since. We've been undertaking a lot of activities, but we thought it wise to climax our 8th anniversary with a public lecture. You know, as journalists, we also have to refresh our memories. We must refresh ourselves because the cataracts cannot be blunt for life. There is a need to sharpen it. So we put together a public lecture that will be spearheaded by the president of the association, Mr. Kwabena Yeboah himself. The theme for it is 8 years of SWAG Volta, the impact development in sports journalism. So what we're doing is that President Kwabena Yeboah will be telling us more about sports journalism. He will be concentrating on the ethics of journalism, the professionalism, where that thin line exists between speed and accuracy. As a sports journalist, where should we look towards? Should it be speed or is it accuracy? So we're going to have fun with the writer himself. All other things that he didn't fit to add to our existence. He will actually be delivering on those as well. Then we also have other speakers. You know, there are times when people thought school sports is not necessary. Reason we've seen hooliganism in school sports lately. Reason we've seen some headmasters not actively partaking in school sports. So there is one man who has been a beneficiary of school sports. That's Godwin Adupo. He has been a long distance runner. National athlete. He's now with GRE in Afulawu. So we beckoned him and told him that, look, it's time for him to tell us how school sports helped him as an athlete. Because there are few out there who believe that, sports in school is for the dump. And over and over again, this perception has rekindled the minds of people. So we brought in Godwin Adupo to diffuse that mentality about school sports. In that vein, we've invited second cycle institutions in the Volta region. About 6 of them will be attending our public lecture. They will be coming together with their peer coordinators for Godwin to actually tell them the importance of school sports and how it has benefited him as an individual and the likes minds that have also benefited from school sports. We are also inviting the NSA boss in the Volta region, Madam Filipina. When it comes to sports...
Oh, Filipina Frimpong.
Yes.
I see. No wonder I haven't seen her in a while. I see.
Yes, she is a new boss in the Volta region now. And when it comes to our region, we always cry for sporting infrastructure.
Yes.
And the NSA has a role in nurturing the young ones into elite sportsmen. So we want to find out from her what does her entity has been doing so far. What are some of the challenges that she has inherited? And what are some of the plans that she intends to put in place to get sports developed in the Volta region? Infrastructure-wise, is zero in the region, and we want to quiz her on what the NSA intends to do to revitalize sports in the Volta region. And when it comes to boxing, Volta region has been a hub of boxing. Over the years, we've seen a lot of boxers coming from the Volta region. Some of them naturalized in Togo because they believe Ghana is not giving them the necessary attention that they deserve. So we want to find out from her intention of reviving some other sports in the Volta region. You talk about beach soccer. Keta Sunset Sports are the record holders. Then we have Aveji Mighty Warriors. We don't have an arena. What is the work of the NSA in the region? What are they doing to bring all these things back to the people? Because if they don't have the infrastructure, development will be virtually very, very difficult to do. Then we also invited the regional director of Tourism Authority, Madam Mukai. Volta region has a lot of tourist attraction areas, and we want to see how sports can be married to tourism, so that the moment Ghana Tourism Authority are talking about tourist destinations in the Volta region, there should be a way to marry with sports, because just some few days ago we saw river volleyball in the Volta region, and it was all over. These are the kind of things that we want to brainstorm about. So the public lecture is just to bring all these people together, talk about sports in the Volta region, the impact we've made so far, where we are going, and how we want to achieve those targets. So that is the main reason why SWAG Volta have actually put together the public lecture, the Kobina Mbua public lecture on sports journalism.
Wow, it sounds good. I'm always happy when there's an opportunity for knowledge to be shared, experiences to be shared. I like the other bit about school sports and how you're inviting Mr. Adigbo to come and share his own life story. Because I believe that for somebody who's taking part in sports and may not be very sure of its viability, Mr. Adigbo is a walking, breathing example and a testimony of what school sports can do for you. So where exactly is it happening and when is it happening?
Okay, so it's on the 9th of this month. It's happening at the Nagrat Hall.
So that's what, Thursday?
Yes,
9th is Thursday, okay.
Yes, Thursday, 10 a.m. Earlier before then, we have a breakfast meeting with the regional minister, Honorable James Gunu. He has been a key developer of the game in our Volta region. He jokingly says that if he were to become a journalist, he preferred to be a sports journalist. So he wants to meet us as a buddy, to also have some one-on-one with us, to also get first-hand information about sports in the region. Because if there is going to be any policy formulation, the sports media is a key stakeholder, and he wants to actually have that background mind of what is happening in terms of sports development, so that if there is a need to even put it into a policy, he can actually rely on some of the disclosures that the sports journalists will also be giving him. So that morning at 7 a.m., we'll have a breakfast meeting with the regional minister, and that actually then the public lecture happens at 10 a.m. So this is how we are going to run on Thursday.
Okay. Tell me about Volta Regional Swag. How many members do you have? And what are some of the things you've done? I know you are part of the larger mother body, but in terms of like the region, what are some of the things you've done so far? Any projects? What are your plans for the year, for the future?
Okay, so membership is about 56 to 60 members.
Okay.
You know, swag, some are regular members, some are not regularized members. There are mid-shift members who comes in and out, and then that's it. But ever since we got inaugurated, we actually undertook few activities. We had a Betway a sports seminar that it was in partnership with National Association. We also had opportunity of having a small get together for two of our former athletes. He was the last bronze winner at the Olympics. The name just escaped me. He passed on just recently. We made sure that we brought together everybody that needs to celebrate him. So it was through the Swag Volta branch that he got that national recognition, and the army also came to set up some businesses for him. It was through our effort. Prince Amate, yes, that's the name, Prince Amate. May he so rest in perfect peace. Then we also have Mr. Agwaje. He also benefited from our hands. We try as much as possible to put ourselves in order, you know, because it's an association that does not do day-to-day running. We most often partners institutions to run events, and so far we've done close to 5 events in the region. We also partnered GJ, because we are also an umbrella. We are under the Ghana Journalists Association Volta region, so we partnered them in some outreach programs as well. So our activities are not so isolated to ourselves, in the exception of about 3 that was owned by us, but the rest is in collaboration with other entities, just to actually project our name and to also announce our existence in the Volta region. So we you know, for SWAG, it is Volta OT, because the OT region does not have a branch currently, so it's more like a twin region. So it's Volta OT.
But are there plans to create an independent one for the OT region, or you still work?
No, there are plans to create an independent body for them. So just as GJ Volta, they existed under Volta for a while, and now they have GJOT. So we're also looking forward to regularize their membership. The only unfortunate thing is that we don't have so much members from OT, and that is the unfortunate part of it. But you know, association also tries some membership. But I believe in the next foreseeable future, we should be having the OT branch. So as a region, these are some of the things that we've actually been doing. We've also partnered the Regional Football Association to put together the Regional Ministers Cup. It was directly under us. I remember Madam Vivian something. She also did something about cycling, and it was well organized by the regional branch. So we come in when it matters, and when we also have resources, we try to make ourselves very relevant in the Volta region, all in the aim of promoting and developing the game in the region.
Interesting stuff. Eric is here. Eric Elieji, he's the chairman of the Volta Regional Branch of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana. He also doubles as the PRO of Pando Hearts of Lions. He said you had a question.
Lions started the season very well. At a point in time, they looked like they could win the league, and then before we realized, they just took a free fall.
A nosedive,
Yeah, they just took a massive nosedive. What went wrong for you?
Well, Ray, this is football, and you know, just as in normal life, where diminishing returns sets in. Last season, we were contenders of the league. We finished second. When the season began, we had high hopes, high ambitions. As at match day 11, we were comfortably there. and we thought we were going to maintain our ascendancy, but a lot of things happened, and a majority of them you cannot actually understand them. But you see, Ray, one thing that I realized about our game, or we realized about our game, is the over involvement of let me say third party agents, scouts, and the rest. You know, it will surprise you to know that a scout or an agent will just call a player, actually, don't get injured at the end of the season. You know, we have to go, and it has really worked into majority of our players. The time you got to know, it was a bit late, but you know, we have a coach that is more or less like a father to the boys. He speaks to the minds of the boy. He tries to bring them from that down drum syndrome, and we are where we are. But I feel it is difficult when we made it difficult to pinpoint what exactly was the problem. But you see, what defines us as a club is our ability to wake up from our slumber and then continue going as a club, and that is the DNA of the Lion. We say GA1, so definitely things will befall us, but we must try as much as possible. Yes, and that is, it's difficult to pinpoint what exactly was the problem with our setup.
Did the departure of your goalkeeper affect you?
Oh, he had something. He didn't run away. He did. You see, you know what, Ray? You see, the club did not. Were you not surprised the club did not issue a communique on that issue?
Yes, surprising.
And a lot of people were thinking, Ray, why you not issuing a communique? You guys are making the thing to go viral. But this is a contract between the club and a player.
Okay.
You understand? Mm-hmm. So if a party decides to maybe walk away, if the club is aggrieved, the club will have to act.
Okay.
Well, let me come to your question. Yes, his departure really had an effect on the club because he's one of the senior members of the club, our general captain, and there has not been that succession plan that should be implemented at the time he was leaving. So his departure would definitely have a problem on the club. And you can see after Osei left, you can see the number of goals that we've been conceding. So his departure, yes, even though there are other goalkeepers that could slot into his position, but I thought they were not ready at that particular time. And in fact, they were all young boys. The second choice was having the second season with that. The third choice, this is his first season. The fourth choice, this is his first season. So they were not ready for it. So as for the general impact it had on the team, it too, because you know football also strives on friendship, relationship, and then that compatibility. And if one segment is gone, it takes time for you to build it. So Stephen Aholu did a great job on the boys' psyche because Osei left us unaware, and a lot of people were not happy about the void that was created. But you cannot underestimate the void that was created. Indeed, it had an impact on us.
When you say unaware, I mean, what
you want us to go into different realms? No.
So did he inform the club he was leaving?
No, he left and informed the club.
No, he left before informing.
Yes, he ran away. Oh no! I will not put it that way. I will not put it that way. You see, so if like Stoneway or he goes there, they will declare him our. But because he got there, he informed.
So he got there and then informed the club.
Charlie,
okay, you know what?
Yes.
I've left. I've gone to join family.
Yes. And this is a guy who has been looking for this green card for a very long time. The parents are there, so Charlie.
I told you.
The parents are there.
No, but he ran away.
He didn't run away. His parents found for him.
Yeah.
He finally got his green card and he's left.
No, but I mean, so
maybe what he could have done was maybe inform the club.
He should have.
He didn't inform the club. That was the.
Yes,
but players at Lions, are they paid well? Do they earn good salaries?
We run one of the best administrative club in Ghana. Dr. Randy Abbey.
Cuckoo board.
Not even before Cuckoo board.
No, is it Randy Abbey, Dr. Randy Abbey?
Yes. Even before Cuckoo board, we don't owe salaries.
Okay.
We ever since I joined Lions, I think this is my 5th year. I did other jobs with Lions, but not officially. This is my 5th year, and we've never owed salaries. But I am sure today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Today's Tuesday. Yes.
No, but you see, there's a difference between not owing salaries and paying them small salaries.
Well, you see, I am not mandate. Ray, you see what?
Maybe the salary can be small. You can pay it regularly. But because they are not on fat salaries, you see, that's why they are tempted with some of these offers and then they can't play the ball.
No, you see, no. We are one of the most.
So, Echedogli,
yes.
Is it earning?
I can.
Is it earning so much that if I put $10,000 on the table, he won't want to leave?
Look, you see, players have their reason for playing football. There are some who feels that, look, I want to make name for a particular club.
Okay.
There are some who are in for the money and for the movement. Yes. There are some who are content with national football.
Okay.
So I don't have the wage of a chair to even tell you now. Yeah. But I know our clubs are our club is paying very well. If Echedogli attracts interest from other clubs and then he feels he's ready to move on, I don't think out of Lions we've never kept a player that was willing to move on. Last season when our leading goal scorer what's his name? He's now in Asia. When he wanted to leave, we allowed him to go.
He went to Asia?
Yeah, he went to Asia. Just within this season, just at the end of the first run, we had another player of ours, a midfielder, Samuel Boama. He's now in Kenya. When he wants to go, the offer was good. We allow him to go. So for money, Heart of Lions, you don't have a problem with money. If anybody says that, look, players are doing this because of money, no. If I tell you how much even the board chairman surprisingly pumps into us, Mr. Rikutoche, that is not even regarded as the normal. You love to be with Lions.
Okay.
Oh yes.
And I'll be playing. I'll be joining.
Yes. You love to be with Lions.
Eric, thank you so much for joining us. All the best ahead of Thursday's lecture. And we wish you the very, very best. We will have to keep an eye on the lecture. I'm sure there will be some interesting things we can all take away from that. Eric Edgy, thank you so much. Eric is the president of SWAG Volta. He's the chairman, right?
Kill me.
Sorry, he's the chairman. Apologies to the writer. There's only one. So he's the chairman of the Volta regional arm of SWAG, and he also doubles as the public relations officer of Bandu Heart of Lions.
Oh, fantastic.
Now, talking about Ghana football, there's an update from Kumasi I need to share with listeners. The match between Asante Kotoko and Samatex, that second half has been played. It ended Kotoko 1, Samatex 2. Asante Kotoko stand at home by Samatex. As the match was up, Ray was giving me the updates. So, Christian Ajenim, he scored the first goal for Samatex, and then Emmanuel Mama made it 2. And then Albert Amwa scored a late consolation for Asante Kotoko. In between all of that, Ray, Samba O'Neal missed a penalty.
That's
very reliable Samba O'Neal.
Yeah,
missed a penalty.
That's a strange one. So I think it was from that penalty Amwa got the rebound. I think that's why.
This is Sporty FM, the voice of sports.
So that's that. We'll see if we can get Kelvin Owusu on the line. Kelvin has joined us. Kelvin, good morning. How are you doing? Okay, all right. Kelvin is yet to join. I thought he had joined.
Yeah, I thought so.
I thought he had joined.
But maybe we can catch up with him tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see if we can work the line again and catch up with him. But the update is that Asante Kotoko 1, Asante Kotoko 1, Samatex 2. That's in the Ghana Premier League, match week 28. It was the final game of match week 28. So Asante Kotoko stay on 43 points, Hearts of Oak on 46, Mediama on 50, and Bibiani Gold Stars on 51. The other bit of news coming from Europe, 2 bits of breaking news. One, Aaron Ramsey has decided to retire from football at age 35. News broken by Sky Sports. And then Man United defender Harry Maguire has signed a new 1-year contract at the club. He gets to stay up until 2027 with the option of another year. All right, so we'll wrap it up We'll get more updates for you from the Ghana Premier League. We'll get reaction as well. But that's how we wrap up the Sporty Breakfast this morning. Raymond Yamado joined me. Earlier, you heard Abigail send us with Sporty News Extra. Imota Kwame Jakwe Champong, Abigail, Naneki, and Angela, they were our producers. Shout outs to Fly and Emmanuel Ayamga. Shout outs to my DJ Fidelis.